Alright, how are we doing today, guys? Today we're going to be doing a video about mess kit first aid. I wrote an article about this on my Facebook page not too long ago. Got some pretty good responses from it. I also sent it into a couple magazines, and I've got some really good responses about that. So I'll update you guys as soon as I know more information about that as well. But the reason why I posted that is because you can have all the knowledge that you want as far as edible medicinal plants go, but sometimes the simple truth is that they're not going to be there. They're not going to be in your area. It'll be the wrong time of year, and you can have your knowledge base large enough to withstand winter time, because I know things that are going to be there no matter what. If I get it cut bad enough and I'm in a pine forest, I'll be able to put pine resin on my wounds and things like that. And I also carry that in my bag as well. So there's things that I carry on me that will get me through a first aid situation, whether it be indigestion, diarrhea, bad wounds, whatever it is. I carry with me what's going to get me through those things. But if I find something and I identify it and I know how to use it, that just saves what's in my kit. So even cattails. Cattails are always going to be out there. If you can locate some of those, if you unsheath a cattail stalk from itself, you'll find at the end where it kind of turns white, there is like a clear gel. That on a wound can act as an antimicrobial, and it has some numbing properties as well, so it can provide you with some pain relief. But those are some of the natural things that are out there, even in wintertime. So there are always going to be things that are going to be available. It's just how your knowledge base is. So you can find things to make what's in your kit stretch a little bit longer, but we carry things, or at least I carry things, that will get me through pretty much every situation that I commonly encounter out into the woods. So let's go ahead and look in here and see what we got. Alright guys, this is my MSR Seagull. This is my cook pot. This thing's been with me for years. I can't even remember when I got this. But everything I keep in here is for fire or food. So let's go ahead and check it out really quick because I want to get on with this video. I got some deer tallow in here. And this is also more tallow, but it's a candle that I've made. And there's a ton of uses for that. We're actually going to be doing a video about that pretty soon. I just keep some bouillon for quick soup stocks and stuff like that, or for just regular broth for me to drink. It's really great to have that if you don't have maybe a recent kill that you can boil the bones and make broth out of it itself. I like to carry 2% tincture of iodine. I've already did a video about that. I keep these, it's just cotton soaked in Murray's hair pomade. That stuff burns forever, and I like using it, and it's something that's cheap, man-made. I keep steel wool for not only fire, but for cleaning things out. And last but not least, I keep a tin in here that carries a small fire kit, nothing major. And the big thing it carries is about 15 snares. I keep some steel wool, some chaga. But the big thing is the snares in there. And quite honestly, these snares don't hold up very well. They're definitely one-time use. I've had more than one thing get away from me on these snares, but I have caught several things. I've caught squirrels. They're really good for that. And I caught a pretty decent-sized possum, and I was actually surprised that he stayed on those snares because they're pretty lightweight. But they're pretty good for snaring squirrels and stuff like that. So what this video is mostly about is what I carry in here for spices. And I like to carry cumin, some oregano, salt, and pepper. That's just regular ground pepper. Some cayenne pepper, which is really important to me. Cinnamon, garlic, and what I use is granulated garlic. Do not use like garlic salt or anything like that. That is not going to be enough. And garlic powder, the powderizing process takes some of the minerals that we like to use out of it, so it's not really the best, in my opinion, to use for medicinal. But granulated garlic is way better in my mind. So you can see those granules of actual dried garlic that's been crushed, not powderized. Alright, and I also keep sage in here as well. So let's go ahead and talk about garlic. Okay guys, garlic is one of the best things that I keep in my mess kit. In my opinion, it is great on everything. I mean, there's pretty much not much that garlic, salt, and pepper doesn't go on to. All my wild games and things like that, garlic is going to go on to that. What garlic does is, if you have garlic in your diet on a daily basis, this is going to help lower your blood pressure because it dilates the blood vessels in your body, which in turn allows blood platelets to move more freely. And blood platelets are like little discs in your blood, and if those stick together and they kind of, well, they create blood clots, and those can cause heart attack and stroke. So garlic can, like I said, dilate the blood vessels in your body, making them bigger, allowing the blood platelets to have a way to move more freely, thus reducing the risk of heart attack and stroke. Plus, it also doesn't allow the platelets to stick together very well. The blood platelets are pretty sticky, and it almost reduces a little bit of that stickiness, allowing them not to bump up each other and stick, but to bump and bounce off of each other. So having garlic in your diet on a daily basis is good for that. Also, it's been shown to destroy LDL cholesterol without harming HDL cholesterol. So garlic is one of the things that is really good to have in your diet on a daily basis. Now, having fresh garlic, it would be a little bit better. Using fresh ingredients obviously is going to be better for the medicinal properties. But this granulated garlic, even though if I have to use a little bit more to get the same results, I still am getting the same results. But what is more important to me is the antibiotic properties and the antifungal properties of garlic. If I'm out and I can notice that I'm getting ringworm, and my natural go-to for ringworm or athlete's feet or anything like that would be bloodroot. My kids, for some reason, they get ringworm every now and then. They haven't had it for a very long time, but we treat them with bloodroot, or if we can't find that, or if we're out, we treat them with garlic. And what we do is we take either fresh garlic, but I use this a lot. We take and we make a paste out of garlic, granulated garlic. And the way we do that is we take water and we boil it. And either it's from a fresh source, like a creek, or even from our own tap water. We boil that water. And the reason why we do that is because we don't want to introduce any kind of foreign bugs or anything like that into the paste that we make. So we want that water to be as disinfected as possible. And then we just make a simple paste by dropping drops into the granulated garlic, stirring that up, and as long as it's pretty thick, we can pick it up and it kind of mounds onto himself. Then we can apply that to an affected area from, like I said, ringworm or athlete's feet. Not only that, if you use this in combination with a good vitamin C source like this, it is a great immune booster. If you are out and it's getting cold, you can feel cold and flu symptoms starting to get on you. Nipping that in the bud by, like I said, a nice vitamin C source and garlic will help you out tremendously. Alright, one of the more important things that I carry in my pack is cayenne pepper, and I absolutely love this stuff. I'm a big fan of hot stuff. But you know, if this is in your pack and added with this on a cold night before you're getting ready to hit the rack, it is a great just nuclear reactor in your body. It's going to really help heat you up. Yes, my cocoa has marshmallows in it. Leave me alone. But cayenne pepper increases the body temperature, so it slightly warms your body. So obviously you can see how that would be important on a cold winter's night. But there's so much more stuff that this does. It has some of the same effects that garlic does, as it can help dilate the blood vessels, which in turn helps reduce the risk of heart attack and stroke. So not only that, but this can help with digestion. It can help the absorption of nutrients, and that can really be helpful if you are by any chance lost or whatever and you are suffering from an SNS reaction, which that reaction can almost cease digestion. So this can be helpful there as well. Let's see, cayenne is a diaphoretic, which means it's a sweat inducer. So this can help you reduce fevers when like cold or flu symptoms are coming on. This stuff can really get the mucus glands going. Anybody that's ate really hot stuff knows, your nose starts leaking like crazy, and that can help from sinus, act as a sinus decongester. It can also reduce swelling of the nasal passages. One really good thing about this is if you have a sore muscle or maybe you pulled a muscle, just dumping a little bit of this into your hand and actually rubbing it on that muscle can act sort of like maybe a Bengay rub or something like that. It can help sore muscles. It's really great as a blood clotter. I've done a video about this before, where if actually I had a cut and I poured this in there, and packed that wound with cayenne pepper, and that stops the bleeding. But also, when you do this, it does burn for a little while. And what that does, when you pour cayenne pepper into a wound, that wound creates a substance called substance P, and that sends pain receptors to the brain. And those nerve endings can only do that as long as there is some substance P available. Once all that has run out, then it cannot send pain receptors anymore to the brain. So, in fact, this can act as a pain reliever, because you get that sudden rush, burning feeling, and then there's nothing. So it can act as a pain reliever. Alright, the blood circulation properties that this has, that we talked about before, can also be used in your socks and your gloves. Pouring a little bit of this into your glove and then putting your hand into it, shaking that around, getting that all over your hands and your feet, can help warm your hands and feet up. Cayenne pepper is one of those things that just has so much use for it. These can actually help reduce headaches. There's just a laundry list of things, and I definitely encourage you guys to go out and research these. Pull up some medical journals. I'm constantly on medical journals all the time. I'm constantly researching what things can do for me. Some of the other things that I know that this can do is if you have a sore throat, gargling this. It doesn't do the same thing that sage does, but we're going to get into that in a minute. But this can help you help with sore throat issues and things like that. But this is just one of the more important things that I think I pack in my mess kit. Alright, sage is a really good herb. I think it tastes great on things like deer and raccoon especially. This makes raccoon taste pretty good. But other medicinal uses for this is if you get some hot water, hot enough that you want to stick your finger in it and not want to jerk it out really fast. You don't want it to be too hot. You're not trying to make a decoction here. You're just trying to make it hot enough, warm enough to make an infusion. If you do that, that tea is really good for gastrointestinal problems like bloating and some aches and pains in your intestinal tract. That same infusion is really good if you have sore throat. Gargling with that with a little bit of salt, I find that it's really good for sore throat issues. One of the big things that I found that it's really good for is if you take and boil your water and then cool it down. And like I said before, that's so you don't introduce any kind of bacteria, viruses, or anything like that into the infected areas that you're treating. If you take that water and then make an infusion, a cold water infusion, that would mean sitting sage in there and letting that sit for at least 20 minutes to a half hour. You can then, if you have an earache or inflammation of the ear from like otitis media or something like that, you could put 4 to 5 drops 4 to 5 times a day in that ear to help with that inflammation. And it'll also, because otitis media is a fungus, and it'll help kill that fungus as well. But like I said, sage, smoking dried sage has some of the same effects for as an expectorant as common mullein does. So if you can't find common mullein and you're you want that same expectorant use to induce coughing and things like that. Smoking dry sage can help that, and it can also help congestion from asthma as well. Alright, another great thing that I use in my pack is cinnamon. Cinnamon is really good for digestional things, like I said before with sage. This can help with an upset stomach, cramps, if maybe you've gotten a hold of something that doesn't agree with you very well. A little bit of cinnamon in a warm water as a tea is pretty good. One thing you have to make sure that you get true cinnamon, because mostly what you buy on the shelf is actually not cinnamon, it's cassia. And if you get the actual bark, you can tell the difference between cinnamon, true cinnamon, and cassia, because if you hold it vertically, like the stick's going this way, cinnamon will have multi-layers in the bark, and you'll see the layers. Cassia is one thick solid bark. It can spiral around it, but it'll be one thick spiral bark. And true cinnamon actually has like little flaky layers that you can see in there. Okay, so one of the big differences between, excuse the helicopter guys, one of the big differences between cassia and true cinnamon is the way that cinnamon lowers blood sugar. Cassia cannot compare to the way that true cinnamon will lower your blood pressure. On the darker side of things is that cassia actually has coumarins in it, and this true cinnamon has coumarins in it as well, but nowhere near the amounts that cassia has. And cassia, the amount of coumarins that it has in it can actually act as an anticoagulant and can worsen bleeding. So if you are a cinnamon lover and you're eating cinnamon a lot and you don't know, but you're actually intaking cassia, you can find that even minor cuts and wounds bleed a little bit more. That's because of those amounts of coumarins that you're intaking. But this is great also for the same things that cayenne pepper will do. If I get a wound, this will stop bleeding. It has antimicrobial properties, so it's going to help me with secondary infections in that wound as well. Just another little thing that I keep in my pack that not only tastes great, but it has some medicinal uses as well. Alright, next is salt. And I put this on my Facebook, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this on this video as well. Salt, there's a little, not a lot of people know it, but there's a condition called hyponatremia. And what that is if you are in a very hot environment and you're sweating out the salts that's in your body. Sweat contains not only water, but it contains salt and zinc and other elements as well. If you're sweating that salt out and you're replacing it with fresh water that has no salt in it, you can get a condition which is called hyponatremia, and it can actually turn out to be fatal. Also, the brain depends on salt to produce. It uses sodium to produce the firing of the neutrons in your brain. So lack of salt, low salt in your blood can actually affect your ability to think clearly. So not only that, this can help you preserve meats. Salty meats, probably you would need a little bit more than this. But this can also be used on wounds, and if you've ever gotten salt into a wound, you know that it hurts pretty well. But again, that is those nerve endings producing that substance P. And once it's all out of substance P, then this can act almost as a pain reliever, because once those nerve endings are out of substance P, there's no way for those nerve endings to send pain signals to your brain anymore. So germs absolutely do not like salt. There's very little bacteria and viruses that can live in a high salt environment. Alright guys, next is pepper. Pepper nigorium. These are actually berries, they're not corns. I don't know, these actually grow on trees like a bush. And a good thing that pepper is good for medicinally is that as soon as this pepper hits the taste buds, it triggers signals to the stomach to start to produce hydrochloric acid. And that's what's important for the body's digestive system. Without a high level of hydrochloric acid, food can kind of sit in your stomach, which can cause indigestion, heartburn, things like that aren't fun. What's worse is that, you know, those foods lingering in your stomach can then pass on into the intestines, which can cause bad gut bacteria, leading to diarrhea, you know, other things that you really don't want, especially when you're especially when you're out in the woods. I like to carry this because if I have a bad headache, I found that, you know, if I make a cup of broth in hot water and add a pretty decent amount of pepper to it, drinking that broth seems to soothe my headaches pretty good. Also, it has some of the same effects that cayenne pepper and garlic does. It can help circulation. It raises the body temperature. The increased circulation warming up your body is a great effect, obviously. These have antioxidant properties, which can help your body fight free radicals and the effect of free radicals on your body. I encourage you guys to go and do some research on the human body and see just what free radicals can do to you. I mean, from cancer to all kinds of stuff. But like I said, this is great for upset stomach, cramping. This is a diaphoretic, so it can induce sweating, which can help reduce fevers. Okay, pepper is also good for treating wounds. I mean, obviously you see a trend here. A lot of things that I have can treat wounds. You know, you never know when you're going to slip up. But, you know, we work with knives and axes and things like that. So having things that can treat deep wounds is definitely a great resource. But not only do I carry these things, but also when I'm out in the woods, I know that, you know, the yarrows and the goldenrods and things like that, they can stop bleeding. You know, there's all kinds of things out there that is just great to have in your toolbox, in your mental toolbox, to be able to fight infections and to stop bleeding and things like that. It's also great to pack these things too, and also, like I said, these things taste great on my food. I like to carry oregano with me, and dried, it's the same thing. It does the same effects as fresh oregano, but you're going to have a more concentrated effect if you do use fresh oregano. But I use this when I actually have an infection. If something has gone unchecked and I actually see signs of infection, I will make a decoction of this. Usually, like I said, you got to be careful when you're making decoctions, because if you're working with delicate vitamins and minerals, you'll destroy those from the high heat process. Oregano, the antimicrobial properties in oregano are not harmed by high heat processes, so we can make a really concentrated decoction out of this stuff. And what I mean by that is I'll boil water with oregano in it, and then boil that water down to where it's almost nothing, add more oregano and water, and I'll repeat this process 2 or 3 different times. And then what I'm left with is a high concentrated antimicrobial wash, and I'll keep that wash with me, and I'll treat those infected areas 2 or 3 times a day. Also, the same thing with sage. It has anti-inflammatory properties, and if I have a bad ear infection or something like that, oregano and sage combined as an ear wash, you know, just a couple drops in the ear 4 or 5 times a day. Really, I really find that helps me cure myself of inflamed ears, things like that. Same thing with sinuses and sore throats and things like that. A broth, if you are making bone broth from a recent animal kill, or like I said, you carry, you know, bouillon cubes with you, what have you. These added to those will help you with cold and flu symptoms, and it also gives you a quick pick-me-up as well. This will boost you up, almost like, not as much as coffee, but you'll find that it gives you a little bit higher energy levels as well. Alright, next is cumin. I like to carry cumin. I love the taste of cumin. And what this is good for, in my opinion, is well, I make chilies out of it and stuff like that. The main taste that I taste when I make chili is cumin. But cumin is a great spice for indigestion issues. I use it for minor aches and pains. If I dump a pretty decent amount of this stuff in broths and teas and things like that, it can help with like minor aches and pains associated with flu type symptoms and things like that. It's a diuretic, so it can be used to detoxify the kidneys, but you really have to be careful when you're using a diuretic, because diuretics can force the kidneys to add more salt
pulling more salt to the urine, and it also pulls water from your blood. So these can dehydrate you if used in excess. But you know, if the desired effect is that, then that's fine. But you can get into some trouble. We've already talked about the issue of having low salt in your system. Cumin is great for treating wounds. Obviously, you're going to see a trend here. You know, a lot of things that I carry will treat wounds because, you know, those are some of the more common things that I'm going to be using medicinals for treating wounds, cuts, scrapes, things like that. You know, very rarely do I get sick. But if I make a paste, sort of like the same thing what I would do with garlic for antifungal reasons, but I'd make a paste out of this and treat the wounds for that, cover it up, and that keeps unwanted bacteria from getting in there and things like that. A really good thing that cumin is good for is lowering blood sugar. It has not the same effect as cinnamon does. Cinnamon, I find, has a drastic effect on that. But it can help you out, and regular use of cumin in your diet can even help diabetics from developing cataracts.
Alright, so when I'm in my personal space, I always am looking for medicinal plants and herbs, and I always remember where those things are. So if I have an issue that I would need, I would know in my mind, okay, the goldenrod's this way, you know, I can use those for, you know, cold and cough symptoms, or I can cut a minor cut, I can use that to stop the bleeding. Yarrows and on and on and on. Even cattails have medicinal properties. There's just so much out there that I remember where that is if I'm passing it, if I'm hiking. Like I said, when I'm in my personal space, you know, I remember where all these plants are. But when I'm stocking my mess kit for my spices and things like that, not only am I thinking of how these things taste on my food, but I'm thinking what they can do on my body. Now, that being said, my body especially responds more to fresh medicinals, you know, and that's just the way it's going to be. You know, when you're using a fresh plant, that medicine that you make is going to be stronger, but we can have the same effects. Okay.
Hang on.
Baby, I'm sorry. Cold.
Freezing.
Okay, so when I'm out in my personal space.
Wait. Okay, now.
Okay, so when I'm out in my personal space and I'm walking around, and I will always remember where certain plants grow and where they are and the time of year that they grow there, because if I ever have an issue, I'll know where they are. But when I stock my mess kit, I also think of these common ailments that I will run into when I'm in the woods. You know, colds, coughs, minor scrapes and wounds, knife wounds and things like that, you know, cutting myself. And other ailments as well. Like I said, I'm a type 2 diabetic, but I've got it pretty much under control, so I don't really worry about it too much. But, you know, if I feel that maybe my blood sugar is a little too high, I know things in the wild that can reduce my blood sugar, and I stock things in my mess kit to reduce blood sugar as well. My name's William Myers from Mantis Outdoors. Thanks for subscribing and liking my video. Thanks for all your comments and support. Hopefully we'll see you out in the woods. Concentrate. Stop looking at your nails.
Dude, I didn't realize there's blue and purple and pink.
That's correct. Can you focus? Come on, ADD.
Shush. Shut up. I thought it was just red, green, and...
Just stay with me. Stay with me.
Silver. Shut up.
This is going to be the video that... Ready?
Yeah. That's great.
Hey, how you doing today, guys? Today we're going to be doing a video about an article that I wrote on Facebook. Mess kit, first aid.
Shut up, Rudo. Just start over.
Okay. Hey guys, today we're going to be doing a video about mess kit, first aid kits. Shut up! Okay. Hey, how we doing today, guys? Today we're filming a bunch of outtakes. Okay.
Oh, they have a camera. They have a camera again. Start barking.
Yeah. Okay, ready? Give him some damn bacon. Give me some barking nose. Shut up! Is this still recording?
Yes. It went from 1 to like 6.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
In 3, 2, bark. Okay. That's a small. Shut the fuck up, you yapping bastard. Vision is based on movement. Maybe if you don't move, don't shut the hell up. Alright, come on. Okay, outtakes will be long.
Fucking camera's shaking because I'm laughing. It is.
Alright, come on.
Oh, God.
I don't care.
Now an airplane.
Mantis outdoors sucks. Alright, ready? Hey, how we doing today, guys? Today we're going to be doing a video about
Damn it.
Alright, that'll go in the outtakes, I guess. Hey, how we doing today, guys? Today we're going to be doing a video that, plants that are available, pine in, okay, this is just horrible.